Hey, so we're live. Welcome to the Morning at Live. Unfortunately, I seem to be welcoming nobody, so we'll figure that out soon as people start rolling in. Um, okay, now it says a couple people are waiting. Maybe that's one of them's probably me, though. Hey, but it doesn't matter. Whoever you are, welcome to the Morning at Live. I have my cup of reparations coffee, and I'm raring to go. So. Oh, and it's Necro. Necro, guess what? You get the bell, but you're the only one here. Oh, okay. Now I see people coming in. Good morning, Max Del Rio. Good morning. As people are coming in, I'm finding some humor in this. It's so hard to do this when I like one of the reasons I like using OBS when I can, and probably by Monday I'll be able to use OBS again. So don't worry about that and do some actual production on the show. One of the things I like about using it though is that I can put a 10-minute window of standby and let people at least jump in before I get started instead of with this with Google Hangouts. It's just like bam, you're on. What are you going to do? It's just do what you do. Good excuse me. Good morning, John Migda. How you doing? Whatever though, that's just kind of how the world goes. And that's just how it is. And hopefully, like I said, Monday I should have my son's computer set up, and eventually I'll be able to. Also, eventually I'll be able to move back into my studio upstairs, probably by the end of the summer, because my son's going to find an apartment now that he's fully employed as a college graduate. So, although, like I said, I'm in no hurry for him to move out. I want him to be able to get his figure out his budget and figure out how he's going to do things. And I think he already has a place to live, though. I think he's going to take over a lease on an apartment that his girlfriend's sister owns. So that, whatever. So, but anyway, happy day after 4th of July. It is, hey, Johnny Hellcat. I got yesterday, Johnny Hellcat did a stream and had a bunch of people on it. And I must have just missed it because when I got home, I was going to jump in and it must have just ended. So I would have loved to have been there, man. Sorry about that. Anyway, so today we're going to get into some of the things that happened yesterday, 4th of July, of course. And supposedly there was going to be this. Well, there was you got a worldwide block. How the hell did you do that? What happened? What did you do? Oh my gosh, you'll have to tell me about that one. Anyway, yesterday was 4th of July, and there's parades and cookouts and things all over the country. And of course, there was one in Washington, D.C., where the president was going to be addressing the nation. And there was Russian slap fights. Oh my gosh. So a lot of people were, a lot of the usual suspects were complaining, bitching, oh, the Trump's gonna have this military parade. He's gonna have a political rally on the 4th of July when everyone should be all unified. When the people bitching, they're never unified about anything. But and one of the things, he was going to make this speech, and everyone thought, it's going to be this terribly political speech, and all the pundits were just waiting to pounce. They all were like, okay, we're gonna live tweet this speech and we're gonna nail him when it gets political and all that shit. So I didn't get to hear the speech because I don't know what the hell I was doing. I was probably mowing my lawn. I gotta tell you my mowing the lawn story from yesterday. In fact, let's just pause. Let's just pause for the July 4th stuff, and let's talk about my 4th of July, because we need to talk about me. Hi, Maddie. How you doing? Glad you're here. So yesterday, I worked for a little bit yesterday, and I came home and I was going to mow my lawn because I hadn't mowed it for more than 2 weeks because the last time I mowed it was before we went on vacation. We went on a 2-week trip, and I got back, and every time I tried to mow my lawn, every time that I had time to mow my lawn, it was raining. We have had so much rain here in the Twin Cities over the last week or so. So anyway, every time I try to mow my lawn, it rains. So yesterday I go to work and I come back and I'm like, I'm going to mow my lawn. Yes, I'm finally going to mow my lawn. Pulled into the driveway. It's a fairly sunny day. It's partly cloudy out, whatever. pull into the driveway. Okay. Open my garage door. Walk up to my garage door. My mower is on the right side of the garage as you walk in the garage. So I walk in. The second I touch the handle to my lawnmower to pull it out of the driveway, it starts raining behind me. I'm like, wait a minute, where is it raining from? There's like 3 clouds in the air. And it's raining out of those 3 clouds right on my yard. I'm like, damn it. I hate that. I need to mow my lawn. So I'm like, okay, this is not going to last. There's only a couple clouds in the sky. It's fine. No problem. No problem. I'm going to go inside. I'm going to go dink around the computer, do some other stuff. Let it clear up and this rain will not last long. Fine. So I did that. I went on my computer, read some things. I don't remember what I did. I did some stuff around the house. And I'm like, okay, I look outside. Okay, it looks kind of sunny again. I'm going to go mow my lawn. So I go into my garage, open the garage door, walk out, make sure I have find my gas can because I knew my lawnmower needed gas. I turn around, grab the hand of my lawnmower, turn around to start pulling it out, and it starts raining again. From like 1 cloud above our house, it starts raining again. I'm like, what the hell? All right. So then I'm all right. This is not going to last because there's not that many clouds in the sky. Go back inside. I think I played with my dogs for a little bit. Waits till it clears up, dries out, whatever. Okay, it looks like I could get out there. It's still cloudy, but whatever. It's cleared up enough. I could rain. I could mow my lawn, right? I could mow my lawn. Go back outside. I never even shut the garage door this time, figuring it's not going to last. I'm going to go mow my lawn. 3rd time I go. I walk in, I go out my front door and come back around the garage, walk inside the garage. I touch my lawnmower and it rains again. Literally, raindrops just start pouring down on the driveway. And I'm like, okay, is this a sign? Is this a sign from Mother Nature or God or, karma or whatever I did wrong? Because seriously, my lawn's looking like a jungle from not being mowed for 2 weeks and all the rain we've had. So I go back inside, and finally, the 4th time, I finally go outside, and I literally not until about 6:30 in the evening, it finally just stayed clear enough, and I mowed my entire lawn, front, side, back, everything, got it all done. But I'm like, what the hell? So anyway, that was my 4th of July because I knew I wasn't going to be able to. I tweeted something about it. Good morning, Dawg. I tweeted something about it, and I said, "Well, shit. If I can't mow my lawn, I might as well just might as well go just have a beer." And Scribe Light told me, said, "You know what? Or was it you, Dawg, who said that? Don't have a beer. It might start raining inside." No, it did not end up raining inside, and I eventually got to mow my lawn. So, anyway, so let's get back to the 4th of July now. There's a few more people here. Good morning, Dawg, by the way. Good morning, Tyler F. And good morning, Necro. So let's get back to my point here on the 4th of July. So all these people were so invested in the idea that Trump was going to make this political speech, and they were going to drag him for making a political speech, and he was going to have this big military parade, the tanks and missiles and shit going down Pennsylvania Avenue, which if you really listen to the 4th of July plans of the president that he was adding to the 4th of July, there was never going to be this huge military parade. They thought about it, but they didn't. They ended up, they had a couple tanks on display for people to look at. They had some military vehicles, but it wasn't what you would normally think of a military parade. It wasn't a military parade like you would see during the Kennedy era or the Eisenhower era, when they actually had military parades where, you'd see just you'd see huge displays of American might, where they'd have tanks rolling down the streets and military vehicles. They'd have the missile carriers going down the street. That happened during the Kennedy era. That happened during the Eisenhower era. I think they kind of stopped doing it about probably. In fact, they did military parades for a long time until about I'd guess maybe even into Reagan, there was still, I remember there was at least one military parade that I can remember. It was kind of like after Reagan, beyond that is when they stopped doing military parades. And I don't know why. I mean, hammer time. Good morning, MC. So, but so that's what everyone's expecting. And also they were accusing Trump of doing this to have a political rally and not just a salute to the military. So this morning I didn't see the speech. I was busy mowing my lawn because I finally got to mow my lawn. And so I decided to go and find Trump's speech. I didn't see anything about it. So I went on Google. Maybe that was my mistake, because how did I get on Google? Oh, that's right, I changed computers. DuckDuckGo is my go-to, my default search engine on my other laptop that got stolen. And so I guess it was on Google this morning. Good morning, Rolling Bear. So I Googled this, and so I get on Google, and I look for transcript of Trump's speech. And it's fascinating because here's what I got, and I'm going to show you here. Apparently, the Los Angeles Times, whoever wrote it, didn't actually see the speech, because look at the difference in these headlines about the speech. So now here's the Los Angeles Times. You can see my cursor going there. It says Trump 4th of July speech inserts politics and protests into national celebration. Interesting. Now, the PBS one is probably the most accurate, and maybe CNN's. PBS says Trump praises military in history-oriented July 4th speech. CNN, Trump's July 4th speech, heavy on history and military praise. So, and then here's, let's see, USA Today. President Donald Trump delivers salute to America speech at whatever here. So, and from what I heard, I was going to read the speech, but Duck Dog. Okay, collapse of the Soviet Union. That's why they stopped. Maybe that's why they stopped. That could be it. That's why it was passe, and you didn't need to show that. I mean, there are other great military powers that in the country, but yeah, that's probably a good reason to stop the military parades. But I don't know if who are the military parades in the 60s and 50s, 60s, and 70s there to impress? Yeah, probably the Soviet Union. Who knows? You still see that they're still but they were expecting a big, everyone, all the TDS people were expecting a a North Korea style military parade with everyone marching and high stepping and tons of missiles and all the whatever. But and it's funny because I asked someone mentioned that to me yesterday. As I was talking. Or excuse me, I was on Twitter and I was saying, this military parade, seeing tanks and all this stuff going down Pennsylvania Avenue is just going to be gross. And I said, well, yeah, I kind of looked at what was really going to be happening. It really wasn't going to be that. And he said, yes, it is. It's a military parade. I said, no, they're probably just going to, they do flyovers They do flyovers every 4th of July in Washington, D.C. They, the Thunderbirds or whatever. So they did a bunch of flyovers with the B-1 bombers. So they were doing that during the Obama era, the flyovers. So I don't know, people would just expect the worst from the president. And this time, I think if you paid attention at all, and I kind of checked some of the Twitter banner afterwards, a lot of these people were just kind of kind of silent about it, other than he made one gaffe when he was talking about um in his speech. There was a line about how they were controlled the ports, and he made kind of a misspoke and said airports. Talking about during the Revolutionary War when the British were trying to control the ports, and he accidentally said airports. And so that was I saw that buzzing around on Twitter yesterday. So anyway, so today on Twitter, the number one hashtag is Trump parade fail. Oh no, now it changed. It's Revolutionary War airports. Yeah, if anytime Trump misspeaks or misspells or whatever, clearly that's going to be one of the trending things on Twitter. But I wanted to go into that hashtag though. Trump, Trump. Why is that? Oh, my search. There we go. Trump. Trump parade fail. And come on, there we go. So let's go into this. Let's just go into this hashtag because I'm just curious how people. It was number one this morning, and I want to check it out because just because to see. Now it's funny because a lot of people have the rabid anti-Trump people have been really talking about how no one's going to show up. This is going to be terrible. Blah 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 blah. And so you get this picture on Twitter. LOL. If this is a Trump parade fail, I wonder what a victory looks like. Twitter's a real delusional place. Yeah, the place was actually packed when you look at it from behind where the president is speaking. The entire Washington Mall is full, except for the places they have cordoned off, all the way back to the Lincoln, the pool, the waiting pool between the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument. The whole place is packed, where they have people to where they want, people are watching the parade. Now it's interesting. I don't know why these areas this area over here on the sides empty, but I think that all the other stuff's going up on nearing the Washington Monument because they had the place where the president is speaking cordoned off, and they had a big, some big giant screens there so people could see. But they had it cordoned off for security reasons, I'm sure. And obviously if you heard, there were some scuffles in Washington DC over the time. But so that's the number one. That's the top one. At least it was when I came on here. Let's go all the way to the top of this because a lot of people have been tweeting about this. Come on, computer. Oh, this is such a pain in the ass. I'm looking forward to using a different computer tomorrow. So anyway, okay, so a few of these. I bet Cheeto Satan McTiny Hands is currently in his office throwing a massive tantrum because he logged on to Twitter and saw Trump parade fail is trending number one on Twitter. Well, I doubt it. If he reads most of the people using that hashtag, really aren't knocking him too bad. But and again, he misspoke on the port versus airport thing. So this guy, literally everybody, when Trump mentioned airports, yeah, a lot of people laughed about that. So whatever. Lucky for the Patriots, Ben Franklin had invented stealth technology so the Americans could cross the Delaware in stealth boats, sneak up unobserved on the Hessians in Trenton, and steal their Christmas pudding. The war ended in 1812, but not many people know this. Okay, whatever. Anyway, a lot of people trashing the president, but you know what? There were plenty of people there. So let's see. And plus the fact that people were, saying, "Oh, the rain happened. It was divine intervention. Even God and nature hates Trump." But But whatever. Whatever. He misspoke. This is the sickest irony of all this. People who regularly retweet and defend these scrambled, ridiculous word salads and still have the stratospheric gall to accuse others of being mentally unwell. Well, Trump, John Lovitz or John Pavlovitz, Trump derangement, since it was real. Donald Trump. Okay, anyway. Um, Leftists everywhere claiming huge crowds at July 4th parade were photoshopped. Here's one from CNN, hardly a fan of Trump. The sheer level of self-delusion you engage in is beyond belief. Job Pavlovitz, God's agenda is not America's prosperity or dominance or success, and God's reach is not confined within our borders either. God isn't interested in making it great or great again. God-sized God doesn't worship America. So this guy he's not a happy guy at all. No, God doesn't bless America. Um, oh boy, just people want people want outrage. Oh my God, the Trumplings are actually trying to spin this massive Trump fail as a success. Of course, they see Superman in this orange pile of shit. Oh yes, they all again, they're really oh my gosh, it's straight up Trump derangement syndrome. It's hilarious. So here, the tank parade in DC must have been a sight yesterday. And they showed an old Soviet military parade. Yeah, they didn't have a tank parade. That was pretty apparent. I am by no means a supporter, but please be real. This crowd, CNN cred, stood in the rain to hear their leader speak. That's dedication. Please register to vote and utilize your right to do so. Please do not be naive to facts. If we want to change, we must be the change. Yeah, there's somebody who is not a Trump supporter who's being realistic. It was it was the 4th of July. You know what? If it's the 4th of July, and I'm in Washington, D.C., and the president of the United States is going to be speaking in Washington, D.C. at a 4th of July celebration, I don't care who the president is. Okay. I'm going to go and be part of that experience, whether it's a president I like or whether it's a president I don't like, because it's the 4th of July, and that's the president of the United States. Now, if they start saying stuff that's really super political, I'll probably roll my eyes and turn up my nose and be like, yeah, you didn't need to do that. But apparently, if you actually read some of the accounts, the ones that actually paid attention to what was going on during the speech, those people are saying that the speech was, what's the word? What's the word I should use? Pleasantly unpolitical. It is exactly what he said he was going to do. It was going to be a salute to the military and to the nation. And that's what it was. So, I don't know what else to even say about that. That's just what it is. So there you go. Let's see. Let's see if we can do here. Let's do a quick article about the speech itself. Let's do the PBS article, because I think the PBS article, although they do have the same opportunity for biases as any other network, and they generally trend left, I want to hear their neutral take on this. The President Trump took to the stage at his Salute to America event this evening, although there was some apprehension over his speech would be political. His remarks primarily focused on American history and why he thinks the U.S. is as strong as it has ever been. Judy Woodruff brings us some of what he had to say, followed by a reaction from Yamiche Alcindor, who reports from the National Mall. Now, Okay, so they went straight to the speech. Let's see here. Oh, no, they didn't. Here you go. So Judy Rodgers is talking to this Yamich, whatever the name is. We return now to the 4th of July celebration underway now in the National Mall. President Trump took the stage at the Lincoln Memorial just a short time ago. Here's a bit of what he had to say. And then they do President Trump. Hello, America. As we gather this evening in the joy of freedom, we remember that all share a truly extraordinary heritage. Together, we are part of one of the greatest stories ever told, the story of America. It is an epic tale of a great nation whose people have risked everything for what they know is right and what they know is true. It is a chronicle of the brave citizens who never give up on a dream of a better and brighter future. And it is the saga of 13 separate colonies that united to form the most just and virtuous republic ever conceived. On this day, 243 years ago, our founding fathers pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to declare independence and defend our God-given rights. So Judy Rodgers says, our Yamich Alcindor is still on the National Mall in Washington. She joins us again. Yamich, we know it's I wish I could just play this for you, but I'll read it anyway. Yes, we know it's raining. That explains the water and the shield that's in front of the president. Tell us more of what he's saying. And she says, and I'm just going to, this is probably, I'll only go through the beginning of this. She says, well, the president is really talking about the history of America. He's talking about American inventors. He's talking about the ending of slavery and civil rights. He's also said that the nation is stronger today than it has ever been, hinting a little bit at his famous slogan, Make America Great Again. Well, yeah, maybe. But he hasn't been overtly political. That being said, now she has to have this caveat. That being said, his critics still point out that the Republican National Committee got tickets to this event while the Democratic National Committee did not. I wonder when Barack Obama made big sweeping speeches to wherever he would make them all the time, because he spent a lot of his days making speeches, how many tickets he sent to the Republican National Committee to come to his speeches. But I digress. But the Democratic National Committee did not, so the people close to the president are still the people with the best views of him, though it is open to the public. But you mean, so far, you're saying the speech has been directed to American history, speaking about the reason that we should celebrate on this day, Yamich says. Exactly, Judy. The president has really stuck to talk to you about what makes America great in his mind. And that is all the different things that America can do. He also said that he'd like to put the American flag on Mars someday. And he's been talking about astronauts and really in some way celebrating the history of America. So he hasn't been talking about Democrats or Republicans. He hasn't been talking about his campaign. Instead, he's really been inspiring people here to clap because he's been talking about just great American heroes on both sides of the aisle, including nonpartisan figures. So, and that's, from what I understand, that's a pretty accurate. Oh, I didn't realize I didn't have this on the screen. Sorry about that, guys. That seems to be a pretty accurate assessment of what it was. It was not political. It was strictly a history lesson and talking about, what things, the good things about America and some of our, just talking about our history. So good on him. I applaud him for this reason. That's if the president's going to make a speech on the 4th of July, that's what it should be. It shouldn't be a political speech. And I understand. I'm gonna go back and watch it now that I'll have time in my lawns mode. I'll probably go back and watch it this afternoon and. If I who knows? I won't make a video about it, but I do want to watch it because the fact that it wasn't political, other than, and I'm going to get a good chuckle when he makes the airports gaffe, but whatever. He just misspoke. Whatever. If we're going to talk about airports, we're going to talk about 57 states. So there you go. The other big hashtag yesterday that was trending that I laughed my butt off about was not my Ariel. So there's this, apparently, they've cast the live action. Disney has cast the live action story of The Little Mermaid, and a young, very talented singer. Good morning, Maniac Man. A young, very talented singer. I can't think of her name. Hallie. It's not Barry. Hallie something. This young black singer. Nice looking kid. They cast as Ariel, the Little Mermaid. And so all day yesterday, it was kind of humorous because I didn't think most people don't really give a crap. Some people, mention, oh, it's interesting that they'll blackwash a character by taking a character that was at some point in time depicted as white and cast a black actor or actress in that role. But I didn't really hear anyone really mad about it, not at all, not the whole day. I watched, as people talked about it and whatnot. And so then all of a sudden, one of the times when I could not mow my lawn because during my 3-strike period of not being able to mow my lawn because it kept raining every time I touched the lawnmower. One of those times I came and looked at the computer, and this "Not My Ariel" is trending. I'm thinking, what? I've barely heard anyone even complain about that. And so I went on to the hashtag, and I'll do it right here for you. Here, let me type this in. It's still high on the list. Not My Ariel. So I'm looking at this hashtag thinking, wait a minute, were there suddenly a bunch of people who decided that Not My Ariel was trending? And so all these people, I'm looking at this. I swear to God, I'm looking at this hashtag, and the only people using this hashtag are people who are pissed off about the hashtag, or people laughing at people who are pissed off about the hashtag. I haven't found almost not. I'm not going to say none, but there's very. I had a hard time finding people who were mad about Ariel being cast with a black girl. Not at all. I mean, first of all, yeah, good. Oh, hi, Captain Brambles. How you doing? A mermaid's color is based on the color of their scales at the bottom, not the skin at the top. Well, I'm telling you, it's an animated character that's a mythological character. Now, if you were going to make an argument of why Ariel should be white, which nobody seems to have done, but if you got to remember that the Little Mermaid is it's Danish folklore. So if anyone's actually gonna make some kind of argument that the mermaid should be white, which I don't really, nobody for all practical purposes has. Now there have been people saying, "Oh, we're blackwashing all the redheads in film and cartoons again," which that's funny because there was one person who had showed about 9 or 10 examples of where something that was a redhead in cartoons or in mythology or whatever was cast as a black person, and it was more like a joke than anyone being mad. But so I'm looking at these. Zuby. I'm sorry, I didn't hit the bell there. Zuby's just being silly here. I'm offended by the casting of a woman of color as Ariel. They should have used an actual, real mermaid. Sick and tired of this human privilege. But then there's lots of people just mad. If you're posting about Not My Ariel in 2019, racism isn't the norm and isn't cute. Fuck your white Ariel. People just mad, man. And then with the sign there, Ariel hold it, die mad. This one, everybody is fighting about Ariel, but I just want to know who's going to play this iconic hoe. Not My Ariel. Oh, here's another one. Well, here's a real thing. Leave all the fucking skin matters behind and think about this ocean pollution. Your pretty little princess is in danger as you don't give a fuck about real fishes. Stop using plastic. Save your world. Save your ocean. Save your Ariel. Not my Ariel. Yeah, whatever. Not my Ariel. Shut up. She's beautiful. Just hope that if people can get past the fact that she's half fish, they can get past the fact that she's black. I mean, they're already okay with Ariel having a half bluefish body. What's the big deal? Also, I would like to throw my hat in the ring to play Ursula. Oh my gosh. But then there are people who like laugh because Hollywood cast Scarlett Johansson as a literal Japanese woman. Actually, the Ghost in the Machine. Let's now that's false. Actually, they the Ghost in the Machine character didn't necessarily have a race, and it changed constantly. So it didn't matter what they cast that as. But whatever, they expected to be. Some people expected to be Japanese. Everyone. Maybe she really just fit the role and it doesn't matter what her race is. Hollywood cast Halle Bailey as Ariel for the exact reason. Wait, no, it's not like that. Not my Ariel. Not my Ariel. Shut the fuck up. It literally, I went down this hashtag though for a long time. Although here's one. Laugh my ass off. If Black Panther was cast as a white male, you would be pissed off. Okay, that's one. And let's see. In my opinion, Ariel should look like Merida, white skin and red hair. Okay. Now that's weird because now all of a sudden some of these are popping up. But most of the people are just mostly pissed off about the hashtag. And then eventually, apparently, oh, hey, this wouldn't change the story at all, right? Diversity, right? Okay, so I guess there are a handful of people who cared. I don't know what this wrestler's name is. I can't even remember him being Pocahontas. That's hilarious. Okay, so there were a handful, but for the most part, it was mostly people being pissed off about being pissed off. So, yeah, me seeing Not My Area and Colored trending on July 4th. Well, this is America. Why am I surprised? Well, why am I surprised? You can't spell surprised. Oh my gosh. There are children in cages, and y'all are arguing over the fucking race of a mermaid. Nobody's arguing about the race of a mermaid. Literally, oh, not literally. For the most part, nobody cares. It's just embarrassing. If they wanted to be creative, just make the mermaid with the fish part at the top and the lady parts at the bottom. Well, that'd be a lot easier for Prince Eric now, wouldn't it? I don't even go there. Anyway, so lots of people bitching about the bitching that isn't existing. And apparently the person, now here's my take on this. Here's my personal take. And I'm going to, I might even mention this. Let's go. Me. Let's find me. Let's talk. You know what? Let's talk about me. Shall we? So my take on it. Now here's the one thing that's interesting. Somebody found the original poster of the hashtag Not My Ariel. And apparently that person doesn't really exist. The profile picture is a stock photo. It's a newer account and it doesn't have anything. So personally, I think the hashtag Not My Ariel it was a marketing gimmick, and a lot of people think that. Here, let me go into where did I put this? And so I was thinking about this. Okay, so here it is right here. So I'm just because I was laughing because here's my response, laughing my ass off because of the people complaining about the hashtag not my RAL are the ones who got it trending because ain't nobody else using it. Nobody cares, and that's a good thing. And then on a side note, seriously, if you scroll through not my RAL and tell me why it's trending, or scroll through not my RAL and tell me why it's trending, all the people complaining about the hashtag is why it's trending. So I'm thinking somebody's trolling, and it's probably Disney because you know what they're going to do. They're trying to get them Black Panther dollars because they know brothers still go to the movies. Oh, so yeah. Oh, and then I laughed because my buddy Jason. I just don't think it's right that they're 3D washing the character like that and taking jobs away from hardworking animated characters. But anyway, hey Seamus, hey John Connor, how you doing? So yeah, I honestly think someone at Disney knows exactly what they're doing. First of all, now Haley Bailey is a very talented young lady. She has a beautiful voice. She and her sister do this duet thing. I'd never heard her voice until they cast her in this, and then I went and listened to some of her music. She's a great singer, whatever, cute girl, whatever. But I just honestly believe that Disney knew that they could stir controversy, one, by casting a Black girl. Or at least they hoped they could stir controversy. It's really not much of a controversy, but if they could get the controversy brewing, then it's going to create buzz for the movie, and they're going to get a whole new audience of people who normally would have cared less about it, but are going to go see it because there's a controversy over her being Black. Now, the usual suspects, the kids and parents of kids, whatever, they're going to go see that movie anyway. But because they cast a young Black woman and made this big little controversy by somebody dreaming up this not my Ariel hashtag, you know it's going to be Black Panther style opening all over the country. They're going to be, the Black people are going to come out in droves for seeing this movie. In addition to the normal people, the normal target audience of young kids for that, and then also, you know what? Anyone who has some sort of sentimental reasoning for going and seeing the Little Mermaid live action, just like they did for Aladdin, there's something for their childhood that they made live action. I don't even know why they're doing this with all these movies. Well, money, obviously. But those people are going to go see it anyway, too, because it's a cute story and the music's fun and whatever, and everyone's interested in how it's going to look as live action. Just like they did with Aladdin, just like they did with The Lion King, just like they're going to keep doing over and over and over because it's a great marketing gimmick. Oh, we're going to do a live action version of this former cartoon, with Beauty and the Beast. They did with the Beauty and the Beast, too, right? And Disney's making money hand over foot, but this one they're driving even more traffic because they're bringing it to an audience that may not have seen it already. So let's see, Maniac Man. They keep doing this to everything traditionally European, and it's annoying. Yeah, maybe. The cartoons aren't. I don't know that the cartoons are traditionally European. But they're doing to a lot of things. Yeah, diverse, because diversity is. It's not about diversity. Like they give a shit about diversity. The only diversity they care about is green, so they can create controversies, and controversies sell, and that's what's happening. I hope you're wrong about this. The young lady doesn't deserve to be put up like this. You know what? But I don't know that she's being put up. She's gonna be. Her star is gonna grow exponentially, unless it's terrible. Unless they don't do it well. And that would be the true tragedy of it, is if they don't do it well. And but from what I understand, the Lion King looks pretty good. pretty damn good. And for all the worries about how Aladdin was going to turn out, now it's funny because they were so adamant that Aladdin had to be played by a Middle Eastern brown person, whatever. And, Jasmine had to be, a certain race or color to be able to play Jasmine. And there was a controversy because she was some brown race, but not the right brown race, and yada yada yada. But apparently Aladdin turned out pretty good. Although there's some things you needed to speed up to make them like Will Smith's song, I guess. I was watching a YouTube video about how it plays so much better at like 1 1/4 speed than just at 1 time speed, whatever. Um, Yeah, no, that's what I said, as Ghost in the Shell. That's what I said. Motoko's cyborg body wasn't strictly Japanese, and the Japanese actually like Scarlett Johansson as her. Yeah, no, I hear you. That's what I was saying. Hello, perfectly faded delusions. Now that's the first time I've seen your name in my chat, so I am glad you're here. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. Um, and so on. And by the way, the Morning Night Live, we're here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 2 p.m. GMT for people who use that in other parts of the world. And by the way, I guess it's time to shill. So let me shill a little bit. You can be a supporter of the Morning Night Live in a couple different ways that can help us out. One, by hitting that little arrow down over here, somewhere down there. Hit that arrow that says share. You can share the stream out on social media. But if you hit that button, it gives you choices of Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Reddit, I think LinkedIn, whatever. Good morning, Chadwick Dupree. And then also, if you're here and you like what we're doing, hit that like button. Also, right down here. Or if you want to help us out financially, that's great too. We appreciate it. Not necessary, but damn, it is great incentive to keep doing what I'm doing. You can do that through the super chat link in the description down below. We use Streamlabs OBS because I don't have enough subscribers yet to use YouTube super chats. Speaking of which, I should probably open that window to make sure that I'm not getting any super chats right now. So let me open that real quick. That is Streamlabs. And there's my dashboard. All right. So good morning. I'm glad you are here. I don't know why anyone is concerned about race. We're all fucking people. It's. I wish it were that simple, Chadwick, and it should be that simple. And it's funny. I uh, I'm an 80s kid, okay? My parents actually were around during the civil rights movement. I was basically in high school in the 80s, and I consider myself 80s. I look at my high school as a microcosm of the time. And I grew up in Omaha, which is not there's a decent sized black population in Omaha. My parents that adopted me were black, or are black. Well, my father was black. My dad's passed away. In fact, tomorrow is my mom's, the mom that I grew up with. Tomorrow's her 90th birthday, and we're going down to Omaha tomorrow to see her and have a birthday celebration for her. But I wish it was that simple. There was a time when I was in the 80s, I went to a high school that was in the city. In Omaha, they had this, you could kind of open and roll somewhat. I was around during the busing era. But I lived in a predominantly wide area of town. So for me, busing meant that a lot of kids who lived in another part of town were bused to my middle school. And then at the time, they had a 9th grade center that was where kids from a bunch of different schools all went to this one 9th grade center. And then from there, you moved off to whatever high school you're going to. And I went to Omaha Central High School, which was basically in downtown Omaha. And I chose that school because of the academic reputation, one, and also my mother and my grandfather both went to that school. And it was kind of known as where all the academic kids went, but it also was an inner city school. So we had quite a diverse crowd as far as the makeup of the school. And I laugh because I go back and look at my yearbook every once in a while. And our I just look at our class officers, and it's kind of interesting. Our class officers, our class president, um, was a black female. She was a shot putter, a big, strong girl. She was our class president, and she was brilliant. Tracy was a great gal. The vice president of the class was um, he was Chinese American. No, I'm sorry. The vice president of the class was as wasp as you could possibly get. White Anglo-Saxon Protestant. The treasurer of the class was a Chinese kid. The boy sergeant at arm was a Mexican American. Our girl sergeant at arm was Irish Catholic. Our and there was a couple other. I mean, our officers was the rainbow, and it's interesting. And it was a majority white school, but like I said, it was in the inner city. But it was just like, during the times, it was in the 80s. They'd gone through the turmoil in the 60s and the civil rights movement, the civil rights legislation. And then you get into in the 70s, and there's turmoil because of busing and all this other stuff going on. But by the time I got to high school, my sophomore year was 1980, and we get in the early 80s, and throughout the 80s, even when I was in college, it almost seemed like, what, this stuff is becoming so less relevant. People were getting along, and people, people were. It was. You thought, okay, great, we're finally becoming this nation that can be unified, even if we disagree on certain political things. We can be unified and not, make race the number one factor in every damn thing we do. And for some reason, as we got through the 90s and into 2000, it just suddenly started becoming so important again. And so many people wanted to talk about, why it's almost like here's where it is. It was the different entities that thrived on being champions for the oppressed were losing their clout because people weren't feeling like they were oppressed. People were beginning to get along. People were beginning to realize that, we're all in the same kind of boat. And so there was that time of calm. And so all of a sudden you had it's funny because I was in the mortgage business in the late 90s and early 2000s. And I began to start seeing these reports from, if you remember who Acorn is, Acorn was the something action of community organizers or activists for whatever. They were all about housing for the most part. They protested other things. But all of a sudden you're beginning to see all these reports from Acorn about how, the lending industry is racist, and that they're systematically doing this and this and that, and redlining and all that stuff. Which redlining, I was in the business, so I knew for a fact that the idea of redlining as far as home loans was concerned, and that all the real estate agents that I worked with as a mortgage lender, redlining, at least where I was doing business, was not a thing, although there were organizations within our area that said it was. Now, part of that stems from the fact that when we were doing lending, we had there's like this emerging markets things going on, that they what they're called is low income census tract. And contrary to what the activists were saying, there was tons of incentives for us to do loans in these low income census tracts. And so, but then you'd have people moving into the low income census tracts because they could get a deal on a loan. And so then people would start complaining about gentrification. But and also as far as making loans easier to get, because they were saying Acorn came out with the exact same report every year. They would just fluff it up and add a couple new words, but it was the same report every year telling you that us as lenders were discriminating against minorities and low-income people. And they always used the numbers they used were about how many, what percentage of people in these areas would get loans, or what percentage of so and so would get loans. But the one thing they never put in their report was anything about credit, because lending is all about credit, income, assets. Those are the big three: credit, income, assets. Okay. Now, assets meaning just your ability to either have a down payment, or we had programs where you didn't necessarily need a big down payment, but that was it. They never put the factor of credit in, or if they did, what they would do is say, it was kind of funny. They would say, okay, so they would say, okay, so they would always go by your education. Okay. They would say, oh, this person with a master's degree and this person with a master's degree should be able to get the same loan. No, they shouldn't. Not if they don't have the same credit rating. Okay. So, and lending is really about, and credit rating often depends on what kind of loan you get or what kind of rate you can get. The better the credit you get, the better the rate they're going to give you, because they know that you're more likely to pay it back. And when you have lower credit or you have worse credit, then they're to avoid the risk, they want you to put more of an investment into what you're buying. So if you have worse credit, you're going to have to get either a larger down payment, or you're going to get a loan at a higher rate, because they want to make sure. Now it seems counterproductive, but they wanted, if you can't, any challenge is good in him, even if we're having a conversation. Oh, you're having have your conversation there. That's cool. Oh, well, my chat said I don't have that many people in my chat too. That's the part of it too. I only have 14 people in here right now watching, so that's what my chat said. Anyway, so how did I get off on this track? Anyway, my point is so all these activist organizations were beginning to see that they weren't as necessary as they were. And really, if you're an organization that is championing people's civil rights, you should, and you're an anti-discrimination activist organization, your ultimate goal should be to eventually disappear because you're not needed. But that's not how it works, because a lot of these civil rights organizations also bring in a ton of money, right? They bring in a ton of money. So let's take the Southern Poverty Law Center, for example. Okay. Is the Southern Poverty Law Center during the 90s, now the SPLC started in the 70s, and their original mission was to help low-income people have quality legal representation. An incredibly noble goal, because especially in rural South and rural America, period, you get charged with a crime. You can get a court-appointed lawyer who's crap. But the Southern Poverty Law Center, what they did is they tried to make sure that people had good lawyers and got good representation when they were charged with crimes. What a great organization that was. But then they decided that they wanted to be a civil rights organization, and they were starting to bring in a lot of money. But then during the 90s, their money was drying up. So because there weren't as many problems, or people weren't talking about the problems. So what does the Southern Poverty Law Center do now? Well, they put out reports telling you how many there's this many white supremacist groups, and there's Nazis here, and there's white supremacists there, and this group's a white supremacist group. They have their report where they say, oh, look at all these white supremacist groups. You need to give us money so we can fight all these white supremacist groups. They can't bring in money if they can't bring in money if they're not needed. So they've got to make sure they're needed. They got to push every button they can. Okay, and it manipulates the public. It's a manipulation. If you look at some of the things, if you look at articles about the Southern Poverty Law Center right now, they fired their main director because they had some sexual charges against him, and then there's a second guy saying that they were having some race discrimination within the Southern Poverty Law Center group. They're having a leadership change right now because they have their own racial issues within the Southern Poverty Law Center. And look up an article that's about how the Southern Poverty Law Center is a scam. Okay, now I'm not going to say it's a scam because their original mission is still being done. And you're right. I saw Seamus Derby, you wrote in there, poverty has no race. You're correct. And the Southern Poverty Law Center wasn't based on race. It was based on people too poor to be able to get representation. And I still think that is a great and noble service that they give to the public who can't afford legal representation. But yeah, Maniac Man, good point. It's a grievance mongering industry. Think about, one of the big criticisms of Sean King, for example, or what's the dude who wears the down vest all the time? Delray McKesson? DeRay McKesson. One of the big criticisms of those guys is they're just grifters making money off of not the Black Lives Matter music or Black grievance. I call them grievance grifters. That's my name for those people. There's people out doing the real work in St. Louis. There's people down there who are really in the community doing work, trying to work with police, trying to work with the communities, and trying to fix those issues that they believe are happening as far as what they believe is police brutality, where police believe it's police procedure. They're actually in the community doing the work, trying to make things better for the people in their community. And then you get these grievance grifters like Sean King or DeRay McKesson, Sean King especially, who's always writing about this problem and this problem, but he's sitting over here in New York City just raising money and keep getting money off of it. And that's I see someone mentioned Sharpton Jackson. That's the criticism of them too. But the problem is, if you start not to need them, they've got to figure out a way for you to need them again. So they are going to bring up, they amplify and magnify certain racial incidents. Okay. Now it's funny because the last one that Jesse Jackson participated in happens to be blowing up in its own face. And that would be our friend Jussie Smollett. Jesse Jackson got himself involved in that, and now I'm thinking he may have wished he hadn't even gone near it. But and the thing is, there are local organizations, civil rights organizations that do great work, and in some cases necessary work. But I think if you really think about, I'm going back to this Ariel, not my Ariel hashtag. See how that blew up out of something that isn't happening, but somehow that hashtag is going to make a lot of money for somebody. Now, in this case, it'll be for Disney. But again, it's blowing up a controversy in order to take more money. And a lot of these high profile rights organizations do that so they can survive instead of the ultimate goal they should have of not being necessary. So that's my 2 cents on that. All right, let's I'm going to move on because I think I've talked about that long enough. One other, let's see, what else was I going to pop in here today? Oh, you know what? Let's see. I think I have it right here. Just a little update, and it's a 10:09. I got to get into Twitter trends in a minute, but I do want one more thing that I found here. If you've been following the whole the Trump Russia controversy and the Spygate and all that stuff, what the hell? What happened here? Okay, hang on. For some reason, oh no, and my computer just froze. Sorry, guys. I hope you're still there somewhere. All right, are we still on? Did I just lose everybody? Okay, all right, we're back. As far as I know, my whole computer froze there for a second. Like I said, by Monday, I'll have a different computer and hopefully everything's going to be smooth. I'll be able to use OBS again. Everything's going to be just fine. So, okay, so apparently, why does this keep, it did it again. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Okay, hang on, gang. Let me see if I can close this. All right, here we go. The DOJ Inspector General investigation is complete. If you've been following the Russiagate, Spygate, Hillarygate, Emailgate, and everything else with a gate on the end of it, Congressman John Ratcliffe of Republic of Texas says the DOJ Inspector General Michael Horowitz has completed his investigation into alleged FISA abuses by the FBI. The lawmaker says he met with Horowitz last week to discuss the status of the investigation. We talked about his report, the timing of his report, not the content, Radcliffe told Fox News Hannity on Monday. And he related that his team's investigative work is complete, and they're now in the process of drafting that report. So I would expect that a draft of that will be completed in short order. I will tell you, though, I don't expect that any of us are going to see any of us are going to see anytime real soon. Now, that's interesting because if that report is done and they're finally drafting it, there's going to be a timing issue on that report. It's interesting. So what are we at? We're about a year and 2 months out from the next election. And that report is just getting finished up. Also, if you know that the Justice Department has a special prosecutor out there investigating the Russia probe and all the people who are involved in that. I got a feeling that come the turn of the year, probably the next 6 months, the shit's gonna hit the fan. And everyone's going to accuse of Trump of using the legal system to go after his enemies, while not remembering that a certain other entity had used the legal system to go after their enemies or to shield their own crimes. I'm not going to say any names on that yet. Hillary Clinton. But yeah, the Inspector General report on the FISA abuse is coming out. I mean, now, I don't know how close you followed this, but there are serious problems with the FISA warrant. First of all, if and this is all public record, um, the this so-called Steele dossier, um, if you it's in the public record that the FBI never vetted that, and they never had any confirmation, even though it's funny because there's a lot of people, well, they verified some of the things in it. Not really. It was an unverified document that they've admitted as unverified. If you listen to testimony, congressional testimony from different players in this scandal, and then they say, well, no, we're really, the reason we started the investigation was because of George Papadopoulos. Well, now they're finding out that everyone who had any sort of contact with George Papadopoulos also had ties to our own intelligence agencies. In fact, Papadopoulos, as they're figuring out, Papadopoulos really never had any contact with the Russians telling him anything. Everything he got was from some of these different meetings with other foreign entities that had nothing to do with Russia. But that's all public record now too. And so they're trying to figure out, okay, well, how'd this shit start? And the FISA abuse investigation by the inspector general is going to be the start of that. Now they're saying they're probably not going to see it anytime soon. Well, let's see. I'm pretty sure that Robert Mueller is set to testify before Congress, I believe, at the end of this month or next month. I can't remember what it is. But I have some feeling that perhaps this Inspector General report may pop up approximately around the same time as his testimony. Now, Mueller has some issues too, that I'm sure there's going to be some questions to him. Now, Mueller himself said, he didn't want to talk about this. Anything that he would say in a congressional hearing would be the same thing he said within the report. But there's a lot of questions about that report. And actually, the other big deal about that, it's July 17th is when he's scheduled to talk before Congress. The other part is they've decided that they're also going to have some behind closed door interviews with the people on his team, as in Andrew Weissman et al. And if you're not familiar with Andrew Weissman, who Mueller was the first person Mueller hired, and some people say that Andrew Weissman hired everyone else on that team. So the other 17 lawyers, who happen to all be Democrats, who half of them happen to be DNC and Hillary Clinton supporters and or donors. Weissman himself was at the Hillary Clinton victory party. I'm sorry, I had to chuckle there. At the or lack of victory party. We think Weissman probably wrote that report. And so there's going to be a lot of questions for him, because if you read it, it's funny how it kind of reads more like the Mueller report is interesting, because the first section, where the key phrase in the first section is, we found no evidence that would cause us to do further prosecutions. Now I'm paraphrasing because I don't know the exact words, but basically they didn't have any evidence of Russian collusion with the Russians. We found no evidence that would cause us to indict anyone else. Now, it's funny because the people who are saying, here, let me get a sip of my reparations coffee here. The people who've been saying all along, well, they didn't indict Trump because the Department of Justice guidelines that says you can't indict a sitting president. Oh, wait a minute now. If there was a conspiracy with the Russians to steal an election. And the first half of the report is referring to that alleged conspiracy, saying that we had no evidence to indict anyone else for any kind of conspiracy or whatever with the Russians. That wouldn't be just Trump, okay? Trump wouldn't have been able to do any of that himself. All the other people, they didn't arrest Trump Jr. They didn't arrest anyone beyond Paul Manafort. And now there's some things that are coming up that even make Paul Manafort's, his trial or whatever, his arrest related to any of this looks sketchy. There's been some interviews recently that showed that one of these Russian oligarchs that they were supposedly having contacts with, he apparently had been interviewed by the FBI and told them that they didn't have any contact with Manafort. Manafort was working for the Ukrainians. The Russians didn't like the Ukrainians. Why would they tell Manafort anything about any plans about anything? So anyway, I'm rambling here without a script, but you're gonna see. I got a feeling. I got a feeling the shit is gonna hit the fan come around towards the end of this month, as far as the Inspector General report, and when you hear when Mueller testifies in public, some of the questions that are going to be asked of him by both sides, by both the Democrats and Republicans. There's going to be some tough questions for him. It's going to be interesting to see how he answers those questions. And I think in particular, the Republicans' questions about why, about the FISA abuse, about, the composition of his team, etc. It's going to be interesting. All right, let's do this. Let's get into Twitter trends before we leave, because it's almost time for me to go. Let's pop this out here. Let's get real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4 clicks, and we'll share the screen. So trending number 1 on Twitter still right now is Revolutionary War airports. Again, anytime Trump misspeaks, anytime Trump misspells something, it's going to trend on Twitter. I guarantee it. And in fact, one of his tweets is going to inspire a trending topic every day on Twitter. So the number 1 trending topic is Revolutionary War airports, where he misspoke saying airports instead of ports. A line in Trump's Independence Day speech about airports during the Revolutionary-inspired Revolutionary War airport stories. And here you got that gif of George Washington driving his Dodge Challenger across the fields. Oh, that's funny. Robert George, Mr. Crispus Attucks, please step this way for further screening. What, again? Do I gotta get my black ass shot before I'm seen as equal around here? I'm sorry. It's a funny gaffe. Yeah. Why didn't Mueller indict John Podesta? Here's the answer to that, MC. Because they were giving out immunity like candy to the Democrats. I don't know if they gave Podesta, not John Podesta. No, his brother. Which brother is the one? John Podesta is the campaign manager. Tony Podesta. That's the one he should have indicted, because the Tony Podesta, and they gave Tony Podesta immunity on something. And he, for not registering as a foreign agent for the Ukraine, that's what one of Paul Manafort's charges. And he was working for Tony Podesta, and Tony Podesta wasn't registered as a foreign agent for Ukraine. And just before they interviewed, this is all public record too. Just before they interviewed Paul Manafort, they told Tony Podesta that you need to go register as a foreign agent for the Ukraine. It's just dirty. They very easily could have charged Tony Podesta with the exact same thing. And because John Podesta is still a principal at the Podesta Group, they could have gotten John Podesta on the same thing. It's because they're dirty. All right. Anyway, Revolutionary War airports. Dearest Abigail, the situation at ye Old LaGuardia Airport is untenable. Amparts and ramparts clogging metal detectors, and a scrum has begun betwixt Kanye of Cornwallis and Frederick Douglass. I may not make it to Bowling Green. Yours, Felipe. Oh, and the Trump parody account gets in this. I wasn't wrong when I said the Continental Army took the airports from the British during that war. I've seen those airports. JFK, LaGuardia, O'Hare, Heathrow, huge runways, many airplanes. There's no way General Washington would let the British keep them. Revolutionary airports. Oh my gosh. Don't it is fun. This one is actually funny to me. You know, he misspeaks. People had whatever. Of course, oh, now don't put Obama up there. Don't put Obama up there. I'm sorry. So in 1775, we had airplanes. Learn something new every day with this Trump presidency. Oh, yeah, during the Obama presidency, or we had 57 states. I don't remember us having 57 states. You know what? Everyone misspeaks sometimes. Everybody misspeaks sometime. Everybody lies. All right, that's trending number one. Enough of that. Trending number two, what else we got up here? We got Friday Thoughts as opposed to Friday Thoughts. Let's see. What's a Friday thought of the day? Let's pick a Friday thought of the day. Let's pick a Friday thought of the day. Number one on my list is these from Newsbusters, retweeted Michael Morris. Brent Moselle, Tim J. Graham. Being divisive can be very effective politics and business, but... So here, trolling the 4th of July. President Donald Trump in his first... What? And they weren't trolling. They just went out and made a patriotic speech. What are you talking about? Although I should tell Melania, you know, if it's raining out, you may not want to wear white. If you just... I'm not going to tell you why I'm saying that. It's just... yeah. Anyway. Liberals are loudly denouncing Donald Trump for his plans to insert himself in the 4th of July festivities in the nation's capital. He'll deliver a speech as if that's unique and provide tanks for the parade, as if that's controversial. And so they compare him to Kim Jong-un. Yeah, well, it turned out that none of that turned out the way they thought it was going to, so I'm not even going to read the rest of that. But yeah, he was getting pissed off. Oh, Ted Lieu, yay! Congressman Ted Lieu on Friday Thoughts. Let's all see what what kind of Friday thought Ted Lieu has. Oh, here you go. Your regular reminder that the real Donald Trump administration suing to eliminate healthcare coverage for Americans with pre-existing conditions. Really? Okay, now this is some activist group that put this out, saying many health insurers consider fibromyalgia a pre-existing condition. It affects 4 million Americans each year, and if the GOP repeals the ACA, these people could once again be denied health insurance, possibly for the rest of their life. Well, wait, not if they already have health insurance. I thought Obamacare fixed that. So they would have health insurance right now. So how can you be denied for a pre-existing condition if you already have health insurance? I'm not sure what you're saying there, activist group, whatever. All right, let me find one nice Friday thought, and we're going to move on. Well, there's okay. Never fail to understand that chasing a dream isn't always fun, requires hard work, patience, luck, consistency, but above all, self-belief. Wow, that's actually a good Friday thought. So we're going to leave it on that. Let's get on. What's next? What else is trending? Something else? Friday motivation? Nope, not doing it because we already did a Friday thing. Let's do if nudes were currency. If nudes were currency, I gotta see this hashtag. Oh, wait. Unless there's okay. Don't put okay. Gotta make okay. I'm trying not to show any nudes if that happens. If nudes were currency, it just might be a black girl, Bill Gates in the making. Eh, is no, you're all right, but yeah, that ain't yeah, no. If Missy was a stock, it would be plummeting right now. James David Chappelle. Okay. Do I even want to go through this hashtag? If nudes were currency, the national debt would be paid off 10 times over by the perfect tens. Okay, there you go. There you go. There you go. Okay. Let's see. If nudes were currency, my exes, did you delete all that money I gave you? You did delete all that money I gave you, right? Me? Yeah, sure. uh, yeah, yeah. France rolls out the tanks on Bastille Day. Great Britain rolls out tanks on their holiday. There's a lot of the countries still do that. Germany still does it. A lot of the countries still do actual military parades. If nudes were currency, DJ Khaled would be homeless. Oh my gosh. If news were currency, I'd still be poor. If news were currency, Kim Kardashian would have a higher net worth than Jeff Bezos. She's kind of on her way to that anyway, without the nudes. Okay. All right. If Cardi B and Nicki Minaj would be stockbrokers, men would be poor, women would be rich. Yeah, because no one wants to see naked dudes. I don't even think women want to see naked dudes. All right. So that's a funny hashtag. If nudes were currency, you can check that one out yourself. All right. What else we got? Let's see. Let's just see the rest. We're going to jump through it. Happy July 5th. Why is July 5th? Happy 5th of July. Probably something negative. Happy July 5th. Hope you all cleaned up that mess from last night. Happy July 5th. Based on traffic, I'd say I'm the only one going to work today. Yeah, me too. I got to go to work too. Oh gosh. Well, my son had to go to work today. You see, he's gone. All right. Happy 5th of July to everyone except employers who looked at the calendar and thought, but the 5th of July isn't a holiday. Happy 5th of July. There are literally 6 people in the entire building. Yeah, there's a lot of people got to work. If you have to work on July 5th, put a 1 in the chat. Tell me if you got to work today. 1 if you have to work, 2 if you don't, 3 if you don't give a fuck. All right, moving on. AP scores. I don't know. Let's see. What's that today? Me sending my 1s and 2s to a dream college. AP. Oh, I see. People that has something to do with College Board, AP scores. I don't care. I don't have to worry about it. My kids both graduated college already. Yes. I am so close. Lady Boomer and I are so close to being a true empty nest. But again, my son, if my kids ever needed to move home for some reason, I would accept them unconditionally. But I don't mind them being out of the house either. I'm fine either way. But my son's going to move out. Like I said, he's going to move out in a couple months after he gets rolling. After he's been in his job for a couple months and has an opportunity to. One of his friends from high school is moving back here, and they're going to become roommates. So whatever. AP scores don't care. Ryan Hollins, I don't know it. That's got to be a hockey player. That's just a hockey player name. That has hockey player all over. Listening to Ryan. Oh, what? Oh no, what is he, a sportscaster or something? Why is he trending? Ryan Hollins, TV and radio talent, UCLA 06, 10 years in the NBA. He's on First Take. What? If IO First Take, if y'all don't have Max or Stephen A available, please don't air your show. Take the day off. D19, whatever sounds crazy. and has me agreeing with Ryan Hollins, and I never agree with that dude. Nobody likes Ryan Hollins on First Take. Okay, that's why he's trending. Don't know why. What else? Anything else? Anything else good here? Teleprompter. Yeah. Probably something to do with Trump. Let me guess. Trump on the South Lawn, when asked why he said in his July 4th speech that the Revolutionary Army took over airports, blames the faulty teleprompter and says it's hard to read in the rain. Yeah, it's a damn look. If no president on the face of the earth ever made a misspeak, 57 states, then I would laugh. But everybody knows that airports was just him misspeaking. Okay. And so whatever. And so now they're bitching at him for using teleprompter. Well, it wasn't the reason Obama got mocked for using a teleprompter is not because he used a teleprompter. Most presidents and whatever politicians who make speeches use a teleprompter. Except for Ted Cruz. That's funny. Ted Cruz can do a 2-hour speech without even looking at notes, but he was a champion debater, and that was his thing. It's fascinating to watch him do it too. Sorry, the teleprompter got Obama to say 57 states. I'm sorry. There's plenty of gaffes from every president. And it's a funny gaffe. The airport thing, the hashtag is hilarious. So be it. Next thing, what else? I'm going to do, let's see. LaGuardia, that's trending because of that. Revenge of the Dreamers. Okay. The rest on here. Oh, why is Damon Jones trending? Hang on. Let's find out why Damon Jones is trending. Oh, I'm thinking of a different Jones. I'm thinking of Damon Jones, the football player. Okay, he was on that stupid First Take, and apparently he was a dummy. Okay, the only other thing here that is trending that looks interesting is Revenge of the Dreamers. Revenge of the Dreamers 3. Let's see what this one is, and then we're going to go. Oh, and hang on a minute. Oh, that's just an album coming out. Never mind. All right, that's enough of this nonsense. All right, so you guys got an idea what people are going to be talking about today. Obviously, we're going to be hearing about airports all damn day, and probably, really, it's going to be a slow day. It's Friday the 5th, Friday, July 5th. That's the other thing. People are bitching about July 5th because July 5th is on a Friday this year. And you got a weekend, and so how many people took July 5th off? In fact, I'm only going to be at work for a very short time today. Although I did go to UPS this morning. Oh, he missed that dunk. Anyway, let's see. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. Let's just real quick check out the homepage and see if there's anything else that's popping up here. Let's see. We'll go with the newest tweet. Change it to first tweet, newest tweet, the latest tweet. While I'm doing that, I'm going to remind you that the Morning Night Live is sponsored by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. We're here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 2 p.m. Oh, Smarty Bear, are you here? Are you lurking out there somewhere? Because I've been trying to thank you for the super chat from July 3rd. Anyone seen any sign of Smarty Bear? No, I don't think so. Wow, everyone's gone. It's July 5th, people. Come next week, episode 106. I've done 100. This is my 105th episode of the Morning Night Live. It's amazing to me. Yeah. Well, Smarty Bear, still thank you for the super chat, the $20 from the other day. If you watch this later, thank you so much. Anything on Twitter anything new that I need to know about? God, what happened here? Let's go all the way to the top. See new tweets. There we go. Let's cook. And I think I froze again. All right. Anyway, we're here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 2 p.m. GMT for those people who work outside of the United States or my time zone. And remember, before you go, On your way out, hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Hit the share button if you come back later and watch this again. And we do take donations and super chats from the um, Streamlabs, which is in the description down below. And I really appreciate that. But if you do or you don't, I still appreciate all of you who join me here on a Monday through Friday basis. Thank you so much for being here. Anything new? Um, Vox's Gaza Bridge expert smacked for his attempt to cut through the fog of Andy No's violent assault. There's a couple things that I noticed. Now I absolutely abhor the fact that Andy got attacked. Hi, Irish Rose. How you doing? Just one. He did. I wouldn't say that Andy is completely innocent as far as some of the things that go on around that area of Seattle. He does egg some people on, but he doesn't do any. He never commits violence, and it never should have been attacked. I've been seeing some other videos of some stuff from earlier that week. And he plays, let's just say he plays with fire a little more than he probably needs to. There's no reason whatsoever for what happened to him. Everything that happened to him is straight up bullshit. But anyway, let me get out of here. I got to thank you guys for being here. Don't forget, we'll be here back on Monday, hopefully with a different computer that'll be able to run some of my other stuff again. And we got to do some setup on it first. I got to add some things to it, but we should be there by Monday. You guys, again, thank you so much for being here. I got to go. My name is Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye.